Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here with Christopher Codray, CEO of Dorchester Collection, and Helen Smith, who's Customer Experience Officer also for the Dorchester Collection. And we recently had a press event for ILTM, which obviously went virtual this year, and we learned a lot about what was going on with Dorchester. So we thought we'd give them a call and talk to them here and let you know exactly what's going on with Dorchester. And we're going to find out all about this and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, first of all, for both of you, where are you and how are you?
Both very well. We're currently in the office in London. This will be our last visit to the office before the holidays. But really, really pleased to be able to sort of see people in person rather than through Zoom.
Yeah, that's true. They're getting zoomed out as well. For us, it's been great, but also it's the curse of Zoom, right?
Yes,
well, that's it.
Blessing and a thing that you can learn to hate at the same time.
Yeah.
But great being able to speak to you today as well, James.
No, absolutely, Chris. It's good to see you. Although we always enjoy seeing you live, both at events and in New York sometimes when you're here. Let's talk, Chris, about how have your hotels gotten through this pandemic so far? Were they forced to close for a period? Or are they all back open now?
The hotels are all open now, although with limited services. So the Beverly Hills Hotel and Hotel Bel Air remained open the entire time. Mm-hmm. In Europe and the UK, we had to close the hotels completely for quite a few months and started to reopen them in July and then August. So in London, the Dorchester and 45 Park Lane are both open, but as from tomorrow, the restaurants have to unfortunately close for the next few weeks. Coworth Park near Ascot is open and doing very well, so full facilities there, so it's our star at the moment. And then in Paris, situation in Paris is not good. So the hotels are open, but there's no food and beverage at all. Milan, there's limited food and beverage. Hotel is open. And in Rome, food and beverage, the restaurant is open until 6 o'clock in the evening. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing people actually dining in or staying in so that they can also dine as well.
No, that's great. Yeah, that's an early dinner, I think, 6 o'clock.
Well, they can stay overnight and have a nice dinner in their room. That's the approach.
Yeah, well, that drives a little business for them, I suppose.
Yes. It has been challenging and continues to do so. And I think until we get through this next wave and get some sort of clarity of what's going to happen in the first quarter, we'll obviously get through it as we have and with enthusiasm and ensuring that the few customers that we do have have a wonderful experience.
No, absolutely. I've been lucky enough to stay in a few New York hotels, and it is at the high end, the few that are open, and it is limited service here in New York as well. Now, Helen, what have you used this time to implement sort of some major renovations for your hotels that were closed, and what hotels specifically have undergone some renovation?
We have used the time well, and I'm just going to see if I can go from one end of the world to the other. So in Paris, we finished the program that we were underway in the Maurice, and that was some suites and rooms that overlook the Tuileries Gardens, and they are absolutely stunning. At the Plaza, we did, I think, the sixth floor. Yeah. In the Art Deco style, and again, really beautiful, very light with the touches of red that you would expect. Then if you come to the UK, the big project was at Coworth Park, where we've always owned the lodge at the entrance, North Lodge, and that's had some really beautiful renovation work, and it's now open as a 3-bedroom cottage. Wow. With a lovely big kitchen. So at some point in the future, we could do little cookery classes in the kitchen. It's big enough to do that. And again, it's got a little patio outside, so when the weather gets better, somewhere nice to hang out. And then when you get to America, the Beverly Hills, they've just finished a beautiful renovation of the spa. And the only unfortunate thing there is we've opened the spa, but we've now had to close it because of the COVID rules. So yes, we've used the time very well.
That's great. No, and I know I've stayed in both your properties in Paris and a lot of them in London, and the properties in Paris are amazing and would love to go back there. But I don't think I want to go back before the restaurant is open, because that's one of the reasons to go there. And I've actually met the head chef, who is, and now what's the restaurant?
Alain Ducasse.
Thank you. The name that should fall off the tongue. It's my COVID brain. I can't forget it. But yeah, and I have actually met Mr. Ducasse in the Plaza Athénée, so it was interesting. But that's great that you've used this time to get everything together. Now, Chris,
just one other point to add on to that as well is that we've just opened a new facility at 45 Park Lane, which is the Mayfair Park Residences, and that has an amazing gym and swimming pool and spa, which is available for guests of both 45 Park Lane and the Dorchester. So it really is quite stunning. And
I'd love to see that. I've stayed in both the Dorchester and 45 Park Lane, and that was great. And then speaking of 45 Park Lane, obviously you have cut at 45 Park Lane. That is now, it's going to be closed again, or what's happening with that?
Yes, it's open. It's open today, and as from tomorrow, it will have to close, like with all the other restaurants. And hopefully, we'll open it again in time for Christmas, but we won't know that for about 10 days.
And any word on when over in Paris, when Ducasse and all those restaurants might open?
It's scheduled at the moment for about the 20th of January. Okay. If infection levels come down before then possibly we'll be able to reopen beforehand. But this is very much up to the authorities. It's completely out of our control.
This has been the challenge throughout, that every time you think you've got some pattern, another government sort of statement comes out. And of course in Italy it's different in Lombardy than it is to Rome, different in London than it is to Ascot. It's very difficult to put a kind of handle on it.
No, that is the tough thing here. We're dealing with lots of governments and lots of localities with all different regulations. And I kept threatening through all of this to write a column called Too Many Cooks for COVID. But now that we seem to see some light on the horizon, I mean, you over in England got the vaccine before we did, and we just started vaccinating people today, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah, I think we're only a week ahead of you as well.
Yeah, but you had William Shakespeare get one of the first.
Yes, that's right. He was the second one.
I think that was important. You have to keep those plays going,
Yeah. But the hotels were quite innovative throughout. So they've all got a click and collect and meals to go. They've all done programs like that. So Beverly Hills at Thanksgiving did turkey to go. And they'll do something similar for Christmas as well.
That sounded great. I should have known. If I'd known about that one, I wouldn't have bothered to make the meal. I would have had it. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about, for both of you, and Chris starting off, how have you kind of pivoted during this time to offer kind of new programs? Obviously, the big thing now is staycations or workations, or people call them a different thing, with Dorchester Collection, and also Working Away, which is your program. How have these new programs proven to be successful in attracting guests?
Well, I'm going to pass you on to Helen on that one. It's been very much about the local market, but it has been very successful.
So the first hotel to come up with the idea was the Beverly Hills and the Hotel Bel Air, because they have such a local market anyway, and they realized that they weren't going to get into any international traffic for a while. So they came up with a staycation, and then we renamed it the Ultimate Staycation and introduced it across the brand. And it has been the most successful package that we've had, because everybody in every country has almost been restricted to your local market. And the joy of that one is that we try to put everything in that you kind of need as the basic. So you've got your car parking, you can check in when you like, you can check out when you like, you've got ultra high speed internet so you can watch movies in your room if that's what you want to do. A lot of our hotels have got patios or areas where you can sort of dine outside when the weather's good enough. So during the summer, it was a wonderful package. And that's probably been our most successful so far, James, I think.
Yeah, well, it seems that's all. I've seen that across the board with people doing. In fact, I took advantage of one down in Mexico and did a what do you call it, a work away type of thing for 6 nights. And I did a lot of work. I'll admit I didn't really do much of the stay part. I should have done more, but we have to do what we have to do. Let's talk a little bit about, have any promotions ramping up for the holiday season across your portfolio?
Well, we would have normally made quite a song and dance about it, and we had quite a lot of material ready, but with the kind of various rules, it's going to be a local market again, and now we know that we've got very limited food and beverage. So what we're mainly doing is pointing people towards the website if they want to buy gift vouchers, and again, these pick up and collect offers for food, which we're doing in nearly every hotel now. So it's a very different holiday season to the norm.
No, I'm sure it is in here too. They're trying their best, but in the U.S. it's been a challenge. Now, overall, for both of you, I guess, are any of your markets coming back stronger? And I'm thinking more of 2021 for advanced bookings. But is anything better? Is it London or Paris or the U.S., even Italy? Are any of these markets looking a bit stronger than others?
Well, we were just looking at our sort of 90-day forecast, and it's still very, very slow. The local market is still the strongest. As soon as we start to see some sign of life in the international market, we'll really go to market on that. But at the moment, very, very quiet. Yeah. We did see a little bit of growth in people looking for meetings and events in 2021. They're only looking, they're not booking, but they're looking for slightly bigger groups. I think there's a kind of hope that you can get out and travel. Chris has always said that when people feel it's safe, there'll be this big surge of people just wanting to escape and get out and move around a bit. We haven't seen it in transient, but we have seen it in a few group inquiries. They haven't materialized yet, but at least the phones are starting to ring for sort of July onwards in 21 and a few inquiries for 22.
Yeah. Well, Chris, now how have you your hotels managed to deliver sort of a luxury experience while observing all these protocols required by the pandemic?
James, it's twofold. Firstly, we took the decision at the very outset to really invest into our people. And so we said within days of all of this breaking that everyone's jobs would be safe and that they would be on full pay during the entire time.
Amazing.
So that's taken away any form of anxiety from them. And when they see what's happening with other hotel companies and the enormous number of redundancies, they feel really even more committed to the company. And what we're finding is that's resonating with the interaction and engagement that they're having with our guests. On the protocol side, we also took an approach globally with all the hotels that we would obviously comply with on it, whatever regulations were there, but that it would be very much one of being led and directed by our people who are at the front line. We haven't put up screens or signage everywhere because we wanted the whole experience to be one of a natural experience. Where people and our guests did feel comfortable when they came in the hotels and that they could enjoy it and it was an experience. And that really has paid off dividends. Mm-hmm. And the feedback from our guests has just been what a wonderful experience we've had. And so we're very pleased with the approach that we've taken.
Yes, in the Beverly Hills, some people said it's as near to normal as you can get. And that's what we've craved.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Helen, this is a question for you. I mean, how do you see luxury hospitality changing, if at all, because of the pandemic? Are there some long-term effects of this?
We were thinking about that when we saw your question, and I think that we think in the end, but we think it's a very long-term view, that there'll still be this demand for luxury because of the way we look after our guests. Mm-hmm. We're also thinking that there's going to be a bigger cry for sustainability, that it's going to be more and more important that you are sourcing your food locally, that you're trying to stop using plastic and all that kind of thing. And I think the big thing is going to reassure people and to be as flexible as you can for a long time. Because I think even if families travel, they're going to want to change their plans, they're going to change the number of people, they'll want to change itineraries, and we're going to have to learn to work around them and sort of hold their hand through the process.
No.
But that, I think, will get better and better as time comes and as confidence comes.
Now, I didn't have this question out for you, but Chris, normally I'd be asking you things like, do you have any more hotels in the pipeline? Do you have some goals? Do you have destinations you want to be in?
Most certainly, James. We're still continuing to look for opportunities, and nothing that we can say at this stage. The next one that we have is in Dubai. In fact, we have One Palm Residences, purely residences, which open in January, right on One Palm, number one, the Palm. And then the hotel will open in 2022. We've delayed that slightly because of the current situation, but that'll open September 2022.
That's great. Well, if you want any hotels in New York, now might be the time to get in here, because there are a lot that are maybe on the market soon, or other possibilities. It's sad. I mean, I think it will come back very much so, but there are places now that it's going to be challenging for a while. Now, to both of you, is anything else you would like to get out to our 75,000 travel advisors here in the U.S. about Dorchester?
Well, I think just to say we appreciate everyone who supports us. We've had an enormous amount of support from the travel trade and from our guests over the last 9 months. We couldn't have asked for more, and we're just very, very grateful. And I think the key to this is that we will continue to offer as near normal experiences as we can, and life in Dorchester hotels continues, and you can be guaranteed wonderful experiences.
Absolutely.
We look forward to working with everyone all over again. We've missed that interaction. Our salespeople must be like the agents, just desperate to see each other again. So we'll look forward to welcoming everyone back when they're ready.
Well, absolutely. And I have been lucky enough to stay in a number of your properties over the years in London and Paris. I think the only one I don't have is Coeth Park. We keep talking about that, but I was going to try to do it this year, but I think plans change. But yeah, you have wonderful properties, wonderful hotels around the world, and Beverly Hills too. I think I'm a collector of Dorchester collection. I'm not sure about this. I have been lucky enough to stay at them, and you do have some fine, wonderful, incredible properties. But I do miss both of you. I mean, normally we'd see you in New York, we'd see you at the Virtuoso and other meetings. We'd see you at ILTM. This time we had to see you virtually. We're all looking forward to getting back so we can get together and really talk about the future and try to forget 2020.
Well, we agree completely, James, but lovely to talk to you one-on-one.
And thanks very much for your time as well.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.